Nikita has
You got it
spent
right.
has spent the last 7 years immersed in the digital marketing world. After starting his own e-commerce brand and quickly pivoting into the agency model, he found his place in e-commerce advertising services. He's found great success in email and SMS marketing, which is what he specializes in right now, and has worked with over 100 DTC brands, that's direct to consumer brands. And those are what a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening to this show are going to be interested in. So, Nikita, welcome.
Appreciate you for having me on, Nicholas.
You say here that with email marketing, you can look at adding an extra 200 to $400,000 a year in revenue. That's with email marketing. But now, talk to me.
Yes.
What can you do with SMS marketing? Who is SMS marketing for? Who does it work best for? And who is going to be calling you after this and saying, Nikita, I need your help?
Yeah, SMS marketing is one of those things where it commonly gets put into the same bucket as email because people think of SMS as, well, it's just an email. It's just a little bit shorter, it's more compact, but there's a lot more strategy and focus that goes into it. From our experience, what's worked best with SMS is not only having follow-ups in your automations, which we can dive into that in a little bit, but specifically the brands that it works best for. So in our experience working with all the brands in the world, the the ones that succeed the most have a lower average order value. So think of like sub 200 or $250 average order value, because with those prices, for the most part, people can make an impulse purchase. Anything above that, it gets really hard to say like, you know what, I want to spend $500 today and not think about it. Yeah, so whenever you have a brand that's doing, $50 AOV or $60 AOV, it works really well because it's like, okay, well, maybe I need a new water bottle or something. It's like, yeah, this hit me at the right time. Let me get a new water bottle. But for expensive brands, it may not be the best play.
If I think about SMS, and I get SMSs here in Norway the whole time from companies that I've already signed up to for marketing messages. And
Hmm.
very often the SMS is going to send me to a website or to, it's not the direct sell. It is basically saying, hey, you should check this out. And then it takes you through to a specific landing page. So when we're
Hmm.
talking SMS marketing, it's not just sending an SMS and hoping that you're going to get sales out of the SMS. You've got to have landing pages and your other funnels. Talk to me about what you do in that process and what sort of best practice that you've found.
Yeah, we want to keep it as short and as sweet as possible without having it like be overly salesy, if that makes sense. So there's usually five parts to an SMS. So number one, there's usually an image if you want to pay that extra amount because it does cost money to send out an SMS message. It's about a penny per recipient per send. And if you want to attach a photo, I think it's an extra 3 cents on top of that per recipient per
And
send.
they're getting rid of
Um,
pennies, so that I don't know what's going to happen now.
yeah, it'll be
Free! Woohoo!
4% of a dollar then to send that. um, But then you have the main call to action, or like the first line that people see. So when you go to your messages on your phone, you can see like that first preview line, and then you have what's going on in the body, the offer, and then the URL. So there's a lot of ways that you can do to optimize what you're currently sending out. Typically, we reserve as SMS for anything product launch related, any specific discounts or big like flash sales, or big discounts like 4th of July is coming up for us, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's when we reserve sales and sending out a lot of SMS messages. But you want to have in that first part of the preview, you want to have something attention grabbing and something mysterious. Think of it as like your subject line, because that's the first thing people see when they scroll through their messages. Then you want to get into the offer or whatever message you want to send out. Keep it short and sweet. Like if it's a BOGO 30, meaning like buy one, get one 30% off, just explain that offer and then have the call to action with an emoji, ideally, because that will draw people to go to that call to action. And in that URL, you want to include the coupon code or the discount code or whatever the offer is in that URL. So that way you're reducing friction from people hopping between your website back to your messages and then back on the website. Because then if the discount code's already included, then people only have to just check out and finish the purchase.
Now, I remember when SMSs first came out, and this was before WhatsApp and WeChat and all of
Hmm.
these messaging services. So I could on my Nokia, what, the 3310 or whatever it was, churn
Yep.
out
The brick.
the brick quite a lot of SMSs, and it is seen as quite a legacy technology or legacy media now. When people are saying, well, I don't need to spend money on SMS, I'm rather going to do it on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, what is your riposte or repartee to that?
For me, it's more like how good is the return on ad spend with TikTok or Instagram? Like, if you're really like, you put out an ad and you have a 5x ROAS, then maybe it would be best to channel that money towards those channels. But for us, what's worked best is utilizing SMS in follow ups. So if someone abandons checkout or if someone is in the welcome sequence and they haven't utilized their like welcome discount, that's the best way to follow up with them if they've seen our emails but they haven't taken any action, because that last action through SMS is number one personal, and it's more likely to get them over the line and finish that purchase. And it's relatively inexpensive if you're only using it on automations. Where it gets expensive is when you're sending it out to 10,000 contacts twice a week, and your Klaviyo bill or your Attentive or PostScript bill is like 2 grand. Then it may not make sense because you're overusing it. But when you're using it in those follow-ups and you're using it in like big sales promotional periods, the ROI on SMS is anywhere between 3 to 5x on how much you're spending on SMS credits.
So what we're talking about here on the customer journey is this is in the loyalty phase, basically. So this is
Yes.
really for once you've got the customer, it's a very short, quick interaction with them versus hoping they're going to see a message on Instagram and Facebook and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks, if they don't understand that it should be in the loyalty phase, will be put off by SMS because a lot of us have got spam SMSs where we think, I don't want, where the hell did I sign up for this? Why am I getting this? But you're talking more about these are folks that are already in your pipeline or have already signed up in some space. This is not a
Mhm.
list of SMSs that you are lifting off the internet, obviously.
Yeah, it's not solicitation. And one of the best ways you brought up a good point with not knowing who's messaging you. So, with most of the SMS platforms now, whether it's PostScript, Attentive, or Klaviyo, or SendLane, or I can go on for days. There's so many of them. But they have a feature where you can send out a contact card based on your brand. So, the first interaction, no matter who signs up, we send out a contact card of like, hey, this is Water Bottle Co. And like it has a little photo, it has like the name, so you can quickly add to contacts. And every time that, you send them an SMS message, that's just an extra impression that they get of your brand,
Yeah.
and it's not confusing.
Talk to me about your business and exactly what you do, because we've been talking about a little bit about email marketing and SMS marketing. But talk to me about if somebody hasn't really brought in SMS into their marketing funnel or their customer journey, what is it that you offer?
Yeah. So we are a white glove service when it comes to retention marketing. So handling email and SMS. Our main strategy, like we handle the entire strategy. We handle all the testing, the design, the copy, the setup, the deliverability, pretty much the entire works. And once a client gets onboarded, we do all of the work for them to the point where all they have to do is just maybe spend 3 to 4 hours a month on actually managing the partnership, making sure that all the designs are being on brand, all the messaging is on brand, and everything is getting done. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much all we do. So we just help brands make more money through the retention channels that they already have, but they're not taking advantage of them as much.
A lot of companies will either do the email side in-house or have an agency that does emails but maybe doesn't do SMS. Do you work with companies that, for example, just need the SMS side or just need email?
So we're very flexible. We actually have different partnerships all across the agency. We have some that are SMS only. We have some that are email only. We have some that are both email and SMS, and some that are consultative. So like the consultative ones, they have an in-house email team. They just don't know where to go. Like, and they also don't know what they don't know. So it's up to us to help guide them on like, hey, these are the flows you need to be setting up. These are the SMS messages you need to be setting up. And, maybe we're having a deliverability problem here, look into here, that sort of thing. So we're very flexible in our regard on working with a client. It's just making sure we're providing the most value to them.
Now, Aspekt Agency, you've got a very snazzy website. So it's
Thank you.
very easy to read, and you've got some nice testimonials. So if folks want to check you out, there's a lot of nice information there. There are a lot of folks doing email marketing, maybe not as many doing SMS. Where's the growth for you coming? Where you spoke a little bit about the consultative side where you're actually guiding companies. I mean, is this a business that's just going to keep ticking along and making somebody a little bit of cash, for example, the owner, or is this a business that is growing? Are you adding extra features? Are you seeing that this is an industry that has got legs?
I think it's definitely an industry that has legs, similar to, I think there's a really good analogy in this, where back in like 10 years ago in 2015, maybe even earlier than that, 2014, like Facebook Ads Manager launched. And for the most part, anyone with some marketing knowledge can send out an ad on Facebook and it'll be like a 40x ROAS. Like it'll do great no matter what you do. Now, as time has gone on, there's more regulations, there's more information on the marketplace. There's agencies that have, in-house creative teams and all that stuff. It gets harder and harder as like a solo founder and a solo entrepreneur to manage that channel as a whole because there's so much information. It's like you need to do creative testing, you need to do cap costs, you need to do this, that. It gets very complicated. So in our scenario, we're in the same boat where like 10 years ago, all you have to do is just send out a MailChimp email and you make thousands of dollars. It's a little bit more, maybe not as easy, but in a similar vein, it's getting more and more complicated. There's more regulations on the deliverability side. It's a lot easier to mess up your domain reputation by sending out emails to the wrong customers or sending out too many emails, or maybe your emails have too many images and now they're in spam. There's a lot more balancing that you have to do in order to keep that channel alive, and that's kind of where we come in. I don't think we'll be around as an agency for too much longer, not because I don't want to operate it, but because AI is sort of taking over everyone's jobs. And I'm not going to be in the boat that's crying. I'm going to be in the boat that's evolving the agency. So there's definitely going to be a shakeup in a few years in this space as far as like the traditional agency goes.
Well, it's good to look to the future, and I suppose if one looks at chimney sweeps and the people who fixed looms, nobody's crying for
Hmm.
them now. So it's better to get onto the bandwagon and figure out how it's going to work for your business. But if I wanted to send folks to find out a little bit more about you and your business, where am I going to send them, Nikita?
Yeah, the best place to find us is on the website, aspektagency.com, ASPEKT agency. Um, Also, LinkedIn, I post regularly on there about all things emails, memes in the marketing space, that sort of thing. And then YouTube, if you don't know specific sections of email or want to learn more, I do a lot of videos there, pretty much one a week. Going to be going to two a week next week. So, yeah.
I'll be putting all of those links into the description. But one last thing I wanted to ask you, Nikita, in terms of Aspekt Agency,
Yeah.
what is your major differentiator, do you think? As I mentioned, there are tons of businesses doing quite similar things, and same as me, I've got a brand agency. A lot of people do brand work. What is your secret sauce? Why should people consider Nikita, other than your awesome background?
Outside of crushing it for the brands that we manage, we have, we have really great retention rates as far as clients staying on with us for multiple years at a time. I think what's led to that has been kind of giving a shit about the client. Most brands that sign on with an agency, they have amazing. It's like fireworks in the first 3 months. Like, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And then things get a little bit quieter, less Slack messages are coming through, and then now the brand is reaching out to them like, hey, can we do this? And like the brand is now having to communicate with the agency as like they're pushing the agency rather than the agency saying like, hey, we need to try this, we need to try that. So I think that's where we kind of separate ourselves from the market, where we give a shit about the client. We're constantly in communication. We're never like, we don't bury our clients in like the Slack messages. We're always responsive. And at the end of the day, we're still growing with them as the business grows. Like maybe they're doing 100K a month when we started, but now they're doing 250, and we have to implement different strategies, and we have to update the strategies that we ran in last year, that sort of thing. So it's just evolving with the business and constantly staying in contact with the people running the business.
By SMS and email, I hope. Nikita, it's been great chatting to you, and that is aspektagency.com. So make sure that you check out aspektagency.com, and I'm going to stick those links in the description, and you'll be able to see his processes and their company's processes and examples of their mails, which is quite nice. So everything is quite clearly stuck out there. There's no mysteries. So Nikita, thanks for your time.
I really do appreciate your comments, so why not go and watch this live on YouTube, or go to my website, kuhne.no, that's kuhne.no, for more information.